First contact. The emergency klaxons screamed through the research vessel Curiosity as Dr. Elena Vasquez fought to maintain control of the dying ship. Sparks flew from damaged consoles while the deck pitched violently beneath her feet. Through the observation deck's cracked viewport, the alien world of Kepler-4 fought to be rushed up to meet them with terrifying speed. Hull integrity at 30% and falling, announced the ship's AI in its maddeningly calm voice. Recommend immediate evacuation. Evacuate to where? Alina snapped, her dark hair whipping around her face as she struggled with the manual. Controls. As the expedition's lead xenorchaeologist, she'd spent 3 years traveling to this distant world, following ancient star maps discovered in Martian ruins. She wasn't about to give up now. The planet's surface revealed itself in stunning detail as they plummeted through the atmosphere. Vast crystalline forests stretched across continents, their translucent trees refracting the light of twin suns into prismatic rainbows. Rivers of liquid mercury wound between towering rock formations that defied conventional geology, spiraling impossibly upward like frozen tornadoes. Lena managed to level the ship just enough to avoid a complete catastrophe. The Curiosity skipped across a lake of what appeared to be liquid silver, sending up geysers of metallic spray, before sliding across a plain covered in hexagonal crystal formations that shattered like glass beneath the hull. When the ship finally came to rest against a cluster of coral pink stone pillars, Alina found herself hanging upside down in her harness, blood trickling from a cut on her forehead. The silence that followed the crash was deafening. AI status report, she croaked, unclipping herself and dropping to what had been the ceiling. Main systems offline. Life support functioning at minimal capacity. External atmosphere analyzed as breathable with elevated oxygen content. Temperature 22 degrees Celsius. No immediate biological threats detected. Alina gathered her field equipment, scanner, emergency beacon, sample containers, and her grandfather's antique compasser, sentimental item that had accompanied her on every expedition. The cargo hold had somehow remained intact, protecting her precious archaeological tools and reference materials. Stepping outside, Alina breathed deeply of the alien air. It tasted of ozone and something faintly floral, like jasmine. The landscape around her was breathtakingly alien yet beautiful. The crystalline trees chimed softly in the breeze, creating an ethereal melody that seemed to resonate in her bones. Her scanner beeped softly, detecting unusual energy readings from the northeast. Alina set off in that direction, her boots crunching. On the crystal-sand ground, each step sent tiny prisms of light dancing around her feet. As she crested a ridge of rose quartz formations, Alina gasped. Spread before her was a valley dominated by the most magnificent structure she had ever seen. A pyramid of pure obsidian rose from the valley floor, easily 300 meters tall. Its surface so perfectly smooth it might have been carved from a single massive gemstone. Unlike the angular pyramids of Earth, this one curved and flowed like liquid stone frozen in motion. But what truly took her breath away was the figure standing at its base. The alien girl Alina estimated her to be equivalent to a human teenager stood, perfectly still, as if she had been waiting for Elena's arrival. Her skin was translucent, pale blue, with a subtle internal luminescence that made her seem to glow from within. Her hair was the color of starlight, flowing like liquid silver down to her waist. Most striking were her eyes, large crystalline structures that shifted through the spectrum like living prisms. She wore what appeared to be clothing woven from light itself, garments that shifted and flowed around her slender form without any apparent material substance. Alina approached cautiously, her hand instinctively moving to the emergency transmitter on her belt. The girl showed no sign of alarm, merely watched Alina's approach with those mesmerizing crystal eyes. "Hello," Alina said when she was within speaking distance, not knowing if the being would understand, but hoping her tone would convey peaceful intentions. The response came not through her ears, but directly into her mind, like a whisper of wind, carrying words, greetings, Travaila. "I am Zara. I have been waiting for you." Elena's scientific mind reeled. Telepathy was theoretically possible, but she had never experienced it firsthand. "You can hear my thoughts, your surface thoughts." "Yes. You are not the first of your kind to come here, though it has been many cycles since the last visitor. You seek knowledge of the ancients." It wasn't a question. Elena nodded, studying Zara's ethereal features. "How did you know?" "The pyramid calls. To those who carry the resonance. You carry it strongly." Zara tilted her head, her crystal eyes focusing intently on Alina. "Your thoughts are ... different, more complex than the others who came before." "Others?" Alina's pulse quickened. "There have been other humans here. Long ago they came seeking. As you seek, some found what they looked for. Others ... Zara's mental voice trailed off, carrying a note of sadness. "Would you like to see what they found?" Alina glanced at the imposing pyramid. Her archaeological instincts were screaming at her that this was the discovery of a lifetime. The structure predated anything in the known galaxy by potentially millions of years. "Is it safe?" she asked. Zara's laugh was like crystal chimes in her mind. "Safety is an illusion, traveler, but the pyramid will not harm those who approach with pure intentions. Your heart seeks knowledge, not conquest. It will welcome you." They walked together toward the obsidian structure. As they drew closer, Alina could make out intricate patterns carved into its surface, geometric designs that seemed to shift and move when she wasn't looking directly at them. Her scanner was going wild, detecting energy signatures that didn't match any known technology. "What is this place?" Alina whispered, running her hand along the smooth stone. "The architects built it," Zara replied. "Before my people evolved, before your species left their birth world. They were the first to understand the connections between all living things, the resonance that binds the universe together. The architects. I've never heard that term in any of our xenoarchaeological databases. That is because they withdrew before your civilization began to reach for the stars. But they left gifts for those who would come after, repositories of knowledge, tools for understanding the greater mysteries of existence." Elena's grandfather's compass began to vibrate in her pocket. She pulled it out, amazed to see the needle, spinning wildly before settling on a point just to their left, following its direction. They found what appeared to be a sealed entrance, a section of wall that was slightly different in texture from the rest. "There," Alina said, pointing. "Something's different about that area. You can sense it," Zara observed with what might have been surprise. "The resonance is stronger in you than I initially perceived." Alina approached the wall section and pressed her palm against it. The moment her skin made contact with the obsidian, the entire pyramid hummed to life. Lines of silver light raced across its surface in complex patterns, and the ground beneath their feet vibrated with harmonious frequencies. The wall section dilated like an iris, revealing a corridor filled with soft golden light. Remarkable mental voice carried genuine awe. "In all my generations of guardianship, I have never seen the pyramid respond so completely to a first touch." "Guardianship?" Alina asked as they stepped through the entrance. You're the guardian of this place. My people were shaped by the architects before they departed. We were given the task of maintaining their gifts until the time of great need. I am the last. The corridor led to a vast chamber with walls that seemed to extend into infinity. Floating in the center was a sphere of pure light, pulsing gently, like a beating heart. As they approached, the sphere projected holographic images all around them. Alina gasped as she recognized some of the images. Star charts showing the Milky Way galaxy, but from an impossible perspective. Other images showed worlds teeming with life, technological marvels that defied physics, and beings of incredible diversity working together in harmony. The architect's legacy, Zara explained. They seeded life across the galaxy, nurtured young civilizations, and connected all thinking beings through the resonance network. This pyramid is one node in that network. It's incredible, Alina breathed, her eyes drinking in the vast scope of the projections. But why show this to me? Why now? The sphere pulsed brighter, and new images appeared. These were darker, showing star systems going dark one by one, consumed by something that Alina couldn't quite comprehend, the writhing darkness that seemed to devour light itself, because the great need approaches. Zara replied, her mental voice heavy with ancient sorrow. The devourers have awakened from their cosmic slumber. They consume worlds, stars, entire civilizations. The architects foresaw this and prepared. Alina stared at the horrifying images when soon, within what your people would call a decade, perhaps less, and you think I can help? Elena's scientific skepticism warred with the evidence of her own eyes. Zara turned to face her directly, those crystal eyes reflecting the golden light of the sphere. You carry the strongest resonance, signature I have encountered in millennia. You are the key the architects promised would come. The weight of that statement settled on Elena's shoulders like a physical burden. She had come here seeking archaeological discoveries, not cosmic responsibility. You need not decide now, Zara continued, apparently sensing Elena's emotional turmoil. But will you stay and learn? Will you let me show you what the architects intended for your kind to know? Alina looked around the impossible chamber, at the holographic wonders floating in the air around them, at the alien girl who had somehow become her guide to mysteries beyond imagination. Her crashed ship seemed very far away, and her old life even farther. Yes, she said finally, show me everything. As if responding to her words, the sphere pulsed once more, and the chamber filled with new light. Alina felt something awakening. Within her mind, connections forming, knowledge flowing like water into a drought-stricken landscape. She gasped as she suddenly understood things she had never learned, saw patterns in the universe she had never imagined. It begins, Zara whispered. In her mind, and Alina could feel the alien girl's satisfaction like warmth in her thoughts. Welcome to your true purpose, Elena Buscus. Welcome to the resonance. But even as wonder filled her being, Alina caught a glimpse of something else in the sphere's projections, countdown timer written in symbols that somehow made perfect sense. To her newly awakened understanding, 7 years for months, 16 days, that was how much time they had before the devourers reached this sector of the galaxy. The real work was just beginning, asterisk. The awakening Alina had lost track of time within the pyramid's depths. Days or perhaps weeks had passed as Zara guided her through chamber after chamber of architect knowledge. Each room revealed new wonders, libraries of crystalline data storage that downloaded directly into her consciousness. workshops where matter could be manipulated at the molecular level, and meditation chambers where the boundaries between her individual awareness and the cosmic resonance grew thin. Her understanding of the universe had expanded beyond anything she had previously imagined. The architects hadn't merely been an advanced civilization, they had been gardeners of reality itself, nurturing the growth of consciousness throughout the galaxy. Like Alina might tend to a research laboratory back on Earth, but with knowledge came burden. Every lesson Zara shared reinforced the terrible truth. The void devourers were not just approaching, they were accelerating. "Show me the defense systems," Alina said as they stood before a new chamber door. The obsidian barrier bore markings that hurt to look at directly, symbols that seemed to bend space around themselves. "Are you certain you are ready?" Zara's mental voice carried concern. "What lies beyond this threshold will change you irreversibly. You will see the full scope of the architect's contingency plans." Alina pressed her palm against the door without hesitation. Over the past weeks, she had felt her human limitations expanding, her consciousness adapting to accommodate the vast scope of architect science. She was no longer quite the same person who had crashed on this world. The door dissolved, revealing a spherical chamber that defied physics. They stood on a platform suspended in what appeared to be the void between stars, surrounded by holographic displays showing the entire local galaxy cluster in real time. Alina could see the darkness spreading from the galactic rim entire systems, simply ceasing to exist as the devourers passed through them. "Behold the Nexus core," Zara announced, gesturing to a raised dais at the chamber's center. Upon it sat what looked like a throne made of crystallized starlight, connected to the chamber's systems by streams of pure energy. From here, the architect defense network can be coordinated across 1,000 worlds. Alina approached the throne cautiously. Her newfound senses could detect the incredible power contained within its structure, enough energy to move planets, reshape star systems, or defend entire sectors of space against cosmic threats. "But there's a catch," Alina said, recognizing the weight of responsibility in Zara's mental tone. "There always is with power like this. The network requires a living consciousness to coordinate its functions. Not just any consciousness, one capable of processing information at galactic scales, while maintaining individual identity and moral judgment." Alina studied the throne, understanding dawning. That's why the architects withdrew. They built this system, but they knew they couldn't be the ones to use it. The power would corrupt them, or they'd become something inhuman. Precisely. They foresaw that younger races would eventually develop the cognitive flexibility and ethical frameworks needed to wield such power responsibly. "Your species shows the greatest promise." "My species, or me specifically?" Zara's crystal eyes met Alina's directly. For the first time since they'd met, Alina sensed genuine emotion from the alien girl, something like affection mixed with profound sadness. "You, specifically. I have been waiting for you for over 300 of your years." Elena "I have lived countless lifetimes watching the skies for the one who would carry the proper resonance signature." Alina felt the weight of cosmic destiny settling on her shoulders. 300 years. How old are you? Time flows differently for my kind. We are not born as you understand it. We are grown, shaped by the pyramid's systems to serve specific purposes. I am the 7th guardian to maintain this facility. Each of my predecessors lived until their chosen candidate arrived. And if I had never come, then this sector of the galaxy would fall to the devourers, and I would have failed in my fundamental purpose. But you did come, and your resonance exceeds even the architect's projections. Alina circled the throne, studying its alien architecture. Her enhanced senses could perceive the data streams flowing through its crystalline structural time information from monitoring stations scattered across dozens of star systems, all reporting the same terrifying news. The void devourers had increased their rate of consumption. The original timeline had been wrong. They had perhaps 2 years before the cosmic plague reached inhabited space. "Show me everything," Alina said. "If I'm going to do this, I need to understand exactly what I'm signing up for." Zara raised her hands, and the chamber filled with new projections. Alina watched in fascination and horror as the true scope of the Architect Defense Network revealed itself. Weaponized star systems that could focus stellar energy into coherent beams. Gravitational manipulators capable of creating artificial black holes. Space-time distortion fields that could isolate entire regions of the galaxy. Most impressive of all were the resonance amplifiers installations that could strengthen the natural psychic connections between all thinking beings, turning the galaxy's collective consciousness into a weapon against entities that existed purely to consume. "It's incredible," Alina whispered, "but I can see the problem. These systems would require perfect coordination across impossible distances, split-second timing involving relativistic effects, and moral decisions that could affect trillions of lives. No single being should wield such power," Zara agreed. "But you would not be alone. The network itself will support your consciousness, providing the computational power needed to process information at the required scales. And ... Zara hesitated, her mental voice becoming uncertain for the first time, since Alina had known her, and I would share the burden. "My consciousness has been shaped specifically to interface with these systems. Together, we could maintain our individual identities while sharing the cognitive load." Alina looked at Zara with new understanding. "That's why you've been so interested in my thoughts, my emotional responses. You've been evaluating whether we're compatible." "We are more than compatible," Zara replied, a note of wonder in her mental voice. "Your human creativity and ethical flexibility, combined with my knowledge of the architect's systems, we could become something new, something the architects never envisioned but always hoped for." Before Alina could respond, alarms began sounding. Throughout the chamber, the holographic displays shifted to show long-range sensors detecting movement at the galaxy's edge. The void devourers had changed course, abandoning their methodical consumption pattern to head directly toward the galactic core. "They know," Alina realized with horror. "Somehow they've detected the pyramid's activation. They're coming straight for us. The activation of the Nexus has created ripples in space-time," Zara confirmed grimly. "We have perhaps 6 months before they reach this system." Alina looked at the throne, at the incomprehensible displays of cosmic power surrounding them, at Zara's concerned face. Everything she had been, everything she had planned for her life, seemed suddenly trivial compared to what was being asked of her. But she thought of Earth, of the colonies, of all the young civilizations just beginning to reach for the stars. She thought of the wonder and beauty she had discovered in the crystal forests of this world, in the knowledge of the architects, in her strange friendship with an alien guardian who had waited centuries for her arrival. "If we do this," Alina said slowly, "what happens to us? Do we remain ourselves? The merging will change us both. We will become something new, still Alina and Zara, but also more. We will share thoughts, emotions, memories, You will experience existence as I do, and I will learn what it means to be human. Alina approached the throne, her hand hovering over its crystalline surface. And if it doesn't work, then this sector of the galaxy falls to darkness, and 2 friends die having tried to save it. Alina smiled, feeling a strange sense of peace despite the cosmic stakes. Well, when you put it like that, ... She sat on the throne. The moment her body made contact with the crystalline structure, Alina's consciousness exploded outward. She could suddenly perceive star systems as clearly as the rooms of her childhood home, feel the gravitational dance of binary stars like a heartbeat, sense the collective thoughts of billions of beings across hundreds of worlds. Zara's presence merged with hers, their thoughts becoming a harmonious duet instead of separate voices. Alina felt Zara's centuries of loneliness, her dedication to purpose, her growing affection for the strange human who had stumbled into her life. In return, Zara experienced Alina's scientific curiosity, her deep love for discovery, her human capacity for hope, even in impossible circumstances. Together, they reached out through the Architect network, activating systems that had slumbered for millennia. Across the galaxy, ancient installations came online. The resonance amplifiers began their work, connecting every thinking being in their sector through threads of shared consciousness. Alina felt the moment when sapient beings across 1,000 worlds suddenly became aware of each other and of the approaching threat. Instead of panic, she sensed something else. Determination, unity, the collective will to survive and protect the cosmos they all called home. The void devourers had consumed empty space and uninhabited worlds for eons. They had never encountered organized resistance from an entire galactic civilization working as one. They were about to learn something new. Ready? Zara's consciousness whispered within Alina's expanded awareness. Alina looked out through sensors, spanning light years, seeing the advancing darkness that sought to devour everything she had ever loved. She felt the presence of countless allies beings she had never met but who shared her determination to preserve the light. Ready? She replied. As one, they activated the defense network. Stars flared brighter as their energy was focused into protective barriers. Gravitational fields coalesced into impenetrable walls. The very fabric of space-time warped to create sanctuaries where life could endure. And through it all, Alina and Zara's joined consciousness coordinated the galaxy's defense with precision no single being could have achieved. They were no longer fully human or fully alien. They had become something new, something the cosmos had needed without knowing it. The first wave of void devourers struck their barriers and, for the first time in cosmic ages, was stopped. Alina Zara smiled with satisfaction that transcended individual identity. The real battle was just beginning. But they had proven something important. The light would not go gentle into that good night. As the defense network settled into its new configuration, Alina retained enough individual awareness to feel profound gratitude. She had set out seeking archaeological discoveries and had found something infinitely more precious: purpose, partnership, and the chance to help write the next chapter in the cosmos' greatest story. Thank you, she whispered to Zara across their shared consciousness. Thank you, Zara replied, for showing me what it means to hope. Together, they turned their attention to the vast work ahead, to beings who had become one in service of preserving the many. The galaxy was finally ready to defend itself. Asterisk.